think we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Teresa Deonis, and I am the VP of Marketing here at DESelect. And I am joined by my colleague, our CTO, Jonathan Van Driesen. Jonathan, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, everyone. So indeed, I'm Jonathan. I'm the CTO and co-founder. So together with Anthony, we started DESelect about 4 years ago now. And today I'm excited to tell you more about a feature that we've been working on that's going to be released very soon, and that we're very excited about because many customers and prospects have been asking about this. So I'm very excited to show you all how it's all going to work and give you an opportunity to ask some questions today.
Awesome. And everybody, I am really new to DESelect. I've only been here, gosh, less than a couple of months. And so I've been a marketer for 30 years. And so this has been really fun because obviously we make solutions for marketers. So I understand both your joys and your pain of being a marketer in these times. And hopefully you'll learn a lot today in our webinar. As Jonathan said, we're going to talk about our new feature in DESelect Engage, cross BU saturation control. And so I'll walk you really quick through the agenda, and then we'll dive right in. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll try to answer them as we go, but we'll definitely get to them at the end in case we don't see them. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about DESelect. For those of you who may have come in and not know too much about us, we'll briefly talk about who we are and what we do. We're going to talk about customer engagement and what the cost is if it's not done well or if it's mismanaged. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of pain around that. Then we'll talk about send frequency optimization and cross BU saturation control and how these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, but they're not really synonymous. So we'll talk about the differences and how they work in DESelect Engage. Why this product is ideal to ensure that you're driving your revenue targets and engaging customers with the right amount of frequency and not oversaturating or undersaturating them. And then Jonathan's going to show you a demo of the product, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. Okay. So a little bit about DESelect. We really enable marketers, whether you're a CMO or a marketing manager or a CRM leader or a digital marketer. We really aim to help those of you in large enterprise and in the mid-market transform your Salesforce Marketing Cloud campaigns into campaigns that drive revenue. At the end of the day, that's what we marketers are charged with, and that's what we want to help you do. We offer 3 modules within our platform that help you optimize Salesforce Marketing Cloud. The first is called Segment, and it's a drag and drop segmentation tool that doesn't require SQL. And so you're able to end your reliance on IT, and regular marketers who have no SQL background can actually do segmentation with Salesforce Marketing Cloud using Segment. The product that we're going to talk about today is DESelect Engage. It's our saturation control and send frequency optimization solution so that you can ensure that you're engaging customers with the right amount of communications and you're prioritizing your communications appropriately. And then finally, DESelect Search. It's our free solution. You can get it on AppExchange. You can download it. There's also a Chrome extension that helps you find any records in Salesforce Marketing Cloud very easily and very fast. We are a strategic partner to Salesforce. Our solutions integrate perfectly with Salesforce, and we've teamed up with Salesforce on quite a few notable accounts. And we also have key clients such as Volvo, Cornell University, Morgan Stanley, A1 Telecom, et cetera, just to give you an idea of the types of companies that we tend to work with. We're going to spend today talking about DESelect Engage. But if you have any questions about any of the other solutions, feel free to drop a note in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll get to that as well. Okay. So I want to find out what your top challenge is that you're facing around customer engagement. And these are big ones. Probably some of these keep you up at night. Especially if you're in a large organization with multiple BUs, you're probably seeing a lack of visibility into campaigns that other BUs are running. So it's hard to know what contacts are receiving what communications and when they're receiving them and whether you're colliding with other campaigns. Probably the most pressing problem and the one that definitely keeps all of us up at night is, are we leaving money on the table? Are we under engaging contacts and not engaging enough to where we're driving those revenue targets? Campaign lead times can be a real pain point as well. When you've got particularly multiple BUs in an organization or multiple campaign teams that are trying to run different campaigns at the same time, we've heard from customers that they often have to spend hours in a meeting each week just collaborating and coordinating what campaigns are going to go out and when. And this is very time intensive. It takes up a lot of money with all the people at the table trying to figure this out. And it takes up a lot of time away from actually building the campaigns and driving that revenue. So campaign lead times and just that coordination that has to happen is really difficult. Customer facing wise, we don't want to cause marketing fatigue. We don't want to encourage unsubscribes or opt-outs. And so figuring out what that ideal frequency needs to be depending on subscriber behavior is also a big challenge. And how do we figure that out? And then overall, especially from a leadership standpoint, whether you're a high-level VP or CMO or you report into one, they want to know how campaigns are working. They want to know, how are we continually improving those campaigns? What are we learning and how are we going to improve those? And so your metrics tend to be under a lot of pressure to show that you're learning and that you're continually improving. And so it's hard to do that when you don't really know what's happening, especially across an organization that's communicating with the same contacts. And then we've got the legal and compliance issues, which impose quite a bit of rules on messaging, and really just ensuring that we're not violating any of the rules or laws that are in place. So let me launch a poll and find out from each of you which of these is your top pain point. If you had to pick one that really keeps you up at night and that you struggle with, we'd love to hear that. I'll give you just a minute to answer that. It's a pretty long poll. Lots of reading to do there. But lack of visibility, leaving money on the table, time-intensive campaign planning, marketing fatigue, overall campaign strategy, or legal and compliance issues. Give you guys just a minute to answer. And this will help us also, as we talk through some of the stuff today, it'll help us kind of hit on those key ones that you guys mentioned.
Teresa, while people are voting, what do you think is going to be voted as on the most?
Oh gosh, I think, for me at a high level, I think it's leaving money on the table. Are we under engaging? I think that one might be tied with maybe marketing fatigue. This is the opposite problem, right? Are we under engaging or over saturating our prospects and customers? It's the big question. But as a marketer, the last thing we want to do is leave money on the table. So I think we'll see what they say. Okay, I'm going to launch the results here. Let's see what everybody said. Okay, can you guys see the results? Can you see them, Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 18% said lack of visibility, 18% said leaving money on the table. Marketing fatigue at 36%, and then not knowing what's working to be able to improve overall campaign strategy. Okay, so marketing fatigue, campaign strategy improvements, not knowing what's working, followed by leaving money on the table and lack of visibility. So this is great. Thank you guys for answering the poll. That gives us a good sense for where your pain lies. Okay. Let's move on then. So based on what you guys have said, you're probably feeling the consequences of some of this, right? And the pain is real and the consequences are real. So if you are sending inappropriate messaging frequency or you're oversaturating customers and prospects, there's a chance that you're seeing higher subscribe rates than you'd like to see. And we've got there's a lot of data in the market about this, that if you do that, you're probably going to see maybe a 10% increase in unsubscribe rates. The other problem is wasted resources. As a marketer, we really don't want to waste our marketing budgets. We're all resource strapped right now. And so when you've got these mismanaged communications, you're likely, and it's not just leaving money on the table from the lack of sales or revenue that you're bringing in to help sales bring that revenue in, but also the money that you may be wasting on the marketing side as you expend the effort and the time and the resources to get these campaigns out and they don't have the results that you're seeking. And so we've seen from Deloitte that up to 23% of marketing budgets are wasted annually. That is a big number, and we're all trying to avoid that. A lot of us are rated on that in our annual performance reviews, and we definitely don't want to see that. And you can see it in the numbers as well every quarter. And then the compliance risk, not only in terms of fines that could potentially damage your organization, but also in terms of reputation and the cost of a bad reputation if you are oversaturating your customers. So these are the consequences that we tend to also think about as we struggle with these challenges. So you're not alone. At DESelect, we spend a lot of time thinking about this, and we are really focused on helping you prioritize customer engagement effectively to ensure that you are engaging just the right amount. And that's what Engage is all about. There are these two terms that we use a lot: send frequency optimization and saturation control. And as I said at the beginning, while related, they're not synonymous. And so, Jonathan, could you describe to our guests what the difference is and why at DESelect we aim to solve for both of these?
Down to understanding the subscribers' individual preferences and behavior. So this is where you're going to be looking at, okay, if I'm sending, for example, if I'm sending 3 emails per week to a contact, are they engaging with all of them or not at all? And my interest, my affiliation with the company may be bigger or like different than yours. So maybe your ideal number of communications to receive from brand is 5 and maybe mine is 3. So it's really different per contact. And you wanna, as much as possible, look at the engagement that the contact is showing with your sends to find that ideal number of communications per contact. Now, that is different from saturation control, which is really trying to prevent overwhelming one contact. What you want to avoid is that one contact receives 5 emails in a day from your company. And this is where the challenges that we saw before, like having visibility, are important. These days, especially larger organizations, you have multiple marketers working on different products, different agendas, different campaigns that they want to send out. It's unclear to what extent there's an overlap between the audiences, the segments that are receiving these different campaigns. And then there's also the automated sending that's happening with your marketing automation system. So having a system in place that where you can define rules like, okay, I want to make sure that we're never sending more than one or maybe two emails on a day, or whenever sending more than one newsletter per week. That's where you kind of need to have a system that can take care of this. We sometimes compare Engage with a mission control center, or like on an airplane, oh, sorry, on an airport, right? Where they want to make sure that not multiple airplanes leave at the same time. You have to get a final go before you can take off. That's how we think about this.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jonathan. So DESelect Engage does both. And I know you probably have all heard the fairy tale, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Under engaged is not good. Over engaged is not good. We want to hit that just right moment of really getting to people at the right moment, at the right time, with the right message. So the goal is to build that engagement and not create marketing fatigue. And these are the two levers that we pull to ensure that we can do that. Another key benefit of Engage is that we can optimize the campaigns across the teams. And so getting that visibility into what other teams are doing and ensuring that we can improve campaigns over time, that we have all the information to improve the campaigns, and that we're doing the right send frequency and saturation control to eliminate collisions will be key as well to hit that just right pivotal moment. And then ensuring that compliance and safeguarding the reputation of the organization, reducing those risks due to any excessive or unwanted communications. We're going to get into the demo in just a minute, but one of the things I wanted Jonathan to talk a little bit about is our integration with Salesforce and why this is such a great solution when you're working with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jonathan, about our integration with Salesforce?
Yeah, for sure. So we are a partner from Salesforce. Engage, just as our other applications, is on the App Exchange. And what it allows us to do is have Engage right into your Salesforce Marketing Cloud, just like Email Studio or Journey Builder. It's just available under a menu there on the App Exchange. And that also allows us to intervene in Journey Builder. So right before a send would go out, we can actually stop it from going out or delay the execution of it. So we are right there where the marketing automation with actual sending happens. And also it allows us to easily read into the activities. So we can read the data views, which allows us to understand which sends happened also outside of Journey Builder, which engagement is happening, so that we can optimize the number of messages that we're sending to contacts and prioritize the relevant campaigns.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, so Jonathan's going to do a demo that shows how to apply the saturation control rules across multiple BUs so that you can have that enterprise-wide control over audience saturation levels. He's going to show you how to set up a parent BU, how to perform calculations using the calendar, and a few other things. So I'm going to stop sharing so that Jonathan can walk you guys through the demo. Okay, Jonathan, take it away.
Thanks, Teresa. All right, so just as I just mentioned, DESelect Engage is available in the App Exchange menu. I'm showing you guys today from a staging environment. I'm a CTO after all. So DESelect Engage is available over here. So first I want to show you guys the admin panel. So this is where you can configure how everything works. And especially over here, you can see my screen now, right? Because I just got a message here.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm currently in the admin panel in Engage. And the first thing that's new here is this new screen here that shows business units. So this is where we're going to group multiple business units together. We're going to have a concept of a parent BU and a child BU. So it's a bit different from Marketing Cloud, where you can also have like a hierarchy of business units. In this case, we're going to have a parent where you're going to be able to set up rules that are going to apply to all the different business units that are grouped together. So to both the parent itself and the other children, the other BUs that are part of the business unit group. So what's really changing with this functionality that we're releasing is, until now, Engage worked business unit by business unit, meaning if a contact existed in two business units, both business units were only looking at the sends happening within that business unit. What we're allowing now is to look at the sends happening in the different business units, so that if a contact exists in multiple business units, we can really get a full picture of all the communications that somebody is getting. And so to make that possible, we want to group some business units together. And then we also want to create rules that we need to enforce across the grouping, across the different business units. So first thing I just showed you, that's the business units. And then the next thing is the rules. So under rules, this is where you define what limitations we need to enforce when we allow messages to go out. So some examples that we have here is we will only allow one newsletter for 7 days, and we will always only allow one promo email to be sent per day. And as you can see, we now have a definition here of scope. So a rule can apply either to the entire organization, so meaning those different business units that we group together, or they can apply just to the current business unit. So in this case here, I do have a rule for one SMS per day that only applies to this business unit, because maybe other business units do want to have a different rules around how many SMSs they allow per day, or maybe they don't use SMS. Okay, so here in the rules, we are going to define what rules need to be enforced, so the system knows how do I need to prioritize and which messages do we want to allow or not allowed to be sent. Okay, now the next thing, so once we have set up the rules, the system can actually take those rules into account when doing calculations. So I now switch to the calendar view, where you can see I have here some campaigns on my calendar. As you can and then red means even more people, more than 50% are being excluded. So what I want to show you today is an example where in this current business unit, I have a rule that says one email to be sent per day. So if we look at the sends that are happening today, I have one that's in the green and one that's in the red. So the one in the green, here we can see that everybody's receiving it, 100% of the target people. However, the one in the red, we can see that 58% of the people are not receiving this email because we only allow one email per day to be sent. And so what's happening here is there is some overlap between the two sends, and therefore the campaign with the lower priority, which is the one in the red, there we're going to exclude some people. So this is now within my current business unit. So this was already working like this, right? But now you'll be surprised to see that tomorrow we have a campaign that's in yellow, or but at the same time, there's only 1 cent that I can see on the calendar here. Now, what's happening here is if we allow the other business units to show up here. So in my filters on the dashboard, sorry, on the calendar view, I can now show the sends that are happening in other business units as well. So when I apply this, I can see sends from another business unit. So there's another send from another business unit happening at the same day. And this other send does have a higher priority. So again, we can see there is some overlap between the two campaigns, but we only allow 1 cent to go out per day. Hence, some people are being excluded from the end of July promo. So again, we can see here, 27% of the people are excluded because we only allow 1 email to be sent per day on all business units. So until before, this would not have been the case, but now because we do look at the sends happening across the different business units, we do know this other send happening. And so for the contacts that are targeted on both campaigns, we can now exclude them from the lower priority campaign and enforce the rule of only sending out one email per day. All right, the last thing that I want to show you is our dashboard capability, which is where you're going to have full visibility on all the sending that's happening and all the decisions that the system is making. So we did do a send today, the Get Your Glasses On. We can see here that we targeted just under 100,000 people, and 42% of those people were included, while many people were being excluded. So if you want to see the details of this, we just click here, and then we can see the overview here of the percentage of people being included or excluded. And we can even look into the details of all of those people. And we can see if somebody was excluded for a send, what the reason for this exclusion was. So again, the contacts that are being excluded is because they're hitting this rule of only one email to. It will show me all the sends that are happening for a specific contact. So as you can see here, so a send that already happened is a campaign that we just mentioned. But here I can also see all other sends that are planned for a contact. So I get a full picture of which campaigns is somebody being targeted for. And this now also includes the sends happening on those other business units. So while before I couldn't see this, I now have a full visibility on which sends also in other business units that somebody is being targeted for. And that can also make me, help me understand why the system is excluding people from certain sends. All right, I think with that, I did show everything that I wanted to show. I want to see, Teresa, did any questions come in on this demo?
No questions yet. Everybody, if you have any questions at all or would like to see any aspect of that demo again, go ahead and chat us and we can walk through anything again or answer any questions you might have about that. Okay, I don't see anything coming in, so we'll get back to the presentation real quick. Okay, so one of the questions, okay, we do have a question coming in from Chris. Before we dive into how to apply this, Jonathan, Chris is asking, how does the system handle contacts receiving emails and journeys?
Receiving emails and journeys. So, Chris, do you mean emails that you're sending to a journey builder? So if you feel free to answer while I'll also give an answer. So the way it works is if you do a sends through Journey Builder, then within Journey Builder, we do have a component that connects to our system. And then we can make a decision. It's basically a decision split where we can put people on the include or exclude path. So that's how we say, okay, if you're included, then you should receive the email. If you're excluded, then we're not sending you the email today. And then it's up to you how you want to deal with it. Maybe you want to do a retry and consider like you wait one day and then tomorrow you make a new evaluation. We do have customers that successfully use this to increase engagement. So they end up sending more or less the same number of emails, but they better spread them out over time. And that way, there's definitely no loss in revenue. There's like an increase of revenue because you're sending the emails, but because you're better spreading them out, you do typically get better open rates and engagement and so on. So Chris, feel free to let me know in the chat if I answered your question or if I misinterpreted it.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Okay, says yes, thank you. Awesome, Chris. Yeah, let us know if you guys have any other questions. And Jonathan, so tell us a little bit about how our guests would apply cross-view saturation control in real life.
Yeah, so if you set up business units in Marketing Cloud, you can do that in different ways, right? Typically, like two big use cases are one, each business unit is a brand, or the other one is each business unit is a country. Now, when cross-BU is relevant, is when one contact can exist in multiple business units. And typically that is when one business unit equals one brand. So as a consumer, I can be a fan, I can be a customer of multiple brands, of course. So in that case, I could exist in multiple business units. And then you want to know what are the sends that we are sending to that same customer within the different brands. And then if you want to optimize your sending, your saturation control, then it does make sense that you do look at all the sends happening from the different brands. Now, in the other situation where where one business unit is one country, typically somebody just has one address, they live in one country, so they only exist in one business unit. So there's actually no need to apply saturation control across different business units because contact will only exist in one BU anyway, so there would be no sending happening in other business units.
Fantastic. Pretty simple, right? Okay. Okay, so we've got another poll for you. And we'd love to understand which of these statements is true today. I know which contacts are saturated right now. I know which contacts are under engaged right now. I know whether Mary Smith, pick your name, pick your contact, will be under or oversaturated a month from now. I know if another BU adds a campaigns, it will create saturation. I can automatically exclude saturated contacts from all sends. I can see which contacts are receiving what communications. So I'm going to launch the poll and see how big a pain point this is for you guys. Which of these statements is true today? And of course, we have none of the above as a response to. Okay, results are coming in. Okay, so this is interesting. Let me share the results. Okay, so only 9% know who's under engaged. Nobody knows who's saturated. 18% can automatically exclude saturated contacts from all sends. 36% can see which contacts are receiving what communications. But 36% can't say any of the statements are true, Jonathan. So it looks like we've got a group that really could understand the value of what we bring to the table here. Thank you guys so much for answering the poll. It's very helpful for us. And then Jonathan just replied, we're happy to give you a detailed demo of how our integration works in Journey Builder, if you'd like to see that. Okay. So good. I think you guys are feeling some of the pain of under engagement and oversaturation. So thank you for answering that. Okay, so I want Jonathan to just talk. We're nearing the end of the webinar here, but I want him to tell you a little bit about how he approaches the design of our products and the things that he takes into account as he's building a solution for you. So Jonathan, if you want to talk to us about your design tenets and how you work to ensure that everything works seamlessly in Salesforce Marketing Cloud so that we can provide an optimal experience to our customers. I'd love for you to walk the guests through that.
Yeah, sure. So there's basically three principles here that we take into account to try to provide the optimal user experience. So we want applications to be intuitive, we want them to be turnkey, and we want them to be fully integrated. So when it comes to intuitive, I've shown you the UI of DESelect Engage. Like the backend of this is it's really complex, and there's a lot that comes into making all these calculations, and it's a very advanced algorithm. But we do want to make this application look easy. And so our challenge is really how do we make something complex easy to use? Um, so yeah, we just want customers to be able to see the application and get going immediately. Um, when it comes to cross BU specifically, that comes down to how do we easily also create the visibility into the campaigns that are going on, for example. Now, when it comes to being turnkey, um, we pride ourselves in providing applications that can be installed in like under 15 minutes and that can immediately be used without going through a long implementation process. So also here, when it comes to cross-BU saturation control, it's going to be easy to set up these rules in the master BU, and it's going to immediately be applied in the other business units. There's really like this is just a few minutes of work, and you're ready to go and apply cross-BU saturation control. And then the last thing is we want to build applications that are integrated. So as you've seen, it integrates right into Marketing Cloud. It's available just as any other studio. And also in Journey Builder, it's really easily integrated with a custom component that you can just drag and drop onto your journey. So yeah, those are really things that we aim for that make those applications easy to use and quick to get going without an expensive implementation process or an extensive training. I do want to say though, we do also provide services if you want to, not necessarily on technical point, because as I mentioned, it's easy to set up, but we do see that it's not always easy for customers to understand like what rules should we set up or how do we make decisions internally on which campaigns get a higher priority than others, or how many cents should we allow per week or per month, and that's where we can provide with some support as well.
Definitely. And our customer success team will always be there, working with clients side by side to ensure that the implementation goes well. One question that we get a lot, Jonathan, is around scalability of Engage. How would you characterize its ability to scale?
Yes. Yeah, we do get this question a lot, and we do have customers that are using this application obviously for millions of contacts that they send to, or tens of millions even. And of course, with high volumes of sends happening every day. That's why we built this application from the ground up of the Marketing Cloud platform. So it does run on technologies like serverless functions and special databases that are built for scale and speed so that we can provide those daily calculations in a fast manner so that we can connect with Journey Builder in a way where we give responses to the Journey Builder under 1 second, so that you're not going to see any delays. And we can support customers that, as I said, have tens of millions or hundreds of millions even of contacts and send volume. Because of course that's really important. We do need to be able to look at all of your contacts and look at all of the sends, all of the recent sends that happened in the last couple of weeks, but also all of the campaigns that you're planning to do in the next couple of weeks, to be able to make the right decisions.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, are there any questions for Jonathan or myself? Feel free to put them in the Q&A or in the chat. And if not, we really want to thank you for your time. I know how busy you guys are and the pressure that you're under these days. And so We really thank you for being here. We're going to make the webinar available on demand. You'll get an email with that link and a link to the slides as well. And so feel free to share it with your colleagues or your bosses. And if you would like to have a more in-depth conversation with us, we would love to do that. So if you would like for us to reach out to you with a call back, just type yes in the chat and we will reach out to you for a one-on-one. And in the meantime, we're always here for you. Come to our website, check out all of our resources around Engage and marketing fatigue. We've got quite a few things there. And we'll follow up with you on email as well with a few links to some content that may help you on this journey to figure out how you're going to overcome those big challenges that we talked about in the beginning. Thank you, Jonathan, for your time, for the great demo, and good luck out there and hitting your revenue targets and really connecting authentically with customers through your communications. And we're here to help anytime you need us. So thank you for joining.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Have a great day.